Hello everyone, my name is Peter Hatfield and I'm an astrophysicist working at the University of Oxford. But I'm from Canterbury in the southeast of England, and I was going to tell you today about how I went from doing my A-levels to being an astrophysicist today. I'm not on a kind of day-to-day basis controlling these telescopes because a lot of it is kind of robotic and kind of pre-arranged. So most of my actual work in Oxford is kind of sitting at a desk working on my computer. There's a lot of computer coding, so I mainly use Python, which is a computer programming language, and I use Python to kind of analyse the data that's coming out of the telescope. So rather than kind of looking through the actual telescope, it's more sort of doing computer programming and statistics to work on the data from the telescope. Then there's a kind of lot of working with other people and kind of discussing what would be the kind of next, what interesting things we can do with the data, or what we might want the telescope to do next. There's lots of reading scientific papers, so all the time people at other places around the world are kind of writing scientific papers of discoveries they've made. You've kind of got to be every day kind of reading what new things people have discovered and see how that fits into what you're doing. You've got to kind of write your discoveries up into kind of papers and publish them. There's kind of often sort of quite a lot of talks to go to, so people from other universities will come visit us in Oxford, and then I would go along and kind of see what they're working on. And similarly, I might go visit people in other universities and kind of give a talk about what we're working on in Oxford. And we also kind of do a bit of teaching of undergraduate students, as well as your kind of research, doing new science. Definitely need physics and mathematics A-levels and a third A-level, which I think some universities will require that to be something specific. Others, I don't think, make requirements on it. So it's good to kind of look at what the requirements are for the course that you're looking at. So in terms of the kind of how you might go about becoming a kind of research scientist in university, I'm going to kind of talk about my experience, but lots of this will kind of be applicable to kind of other areas of physics and science, so particle physics or kind of biology, which I know less about, but lots of it might still be relevant. So I'm going to describe how I did it, but there's lots of other routes of how you might do this. So it's good to kind of do lots of research yourself at how you would go about these things. So most people would kind of first, after they do their A-levels, go and do an undergraduate degree. So that's your kind of 3 or 4 year degree. For something like astrophysics, you would typically do either maths or physics at university. You maybe might do engineering if you wanted to kind of work constructing these telescopes around the world. And then after your undergraduate degree, you would normally do a PhD. So a PhD is a degree that takes around 3 or 4 years, but rather than kind of learning new courses, you're kind of learning how to be a research scientist, and you're starting to make your own new scientific discoveries. So I did my undergraduate degree and then master's as the 4th year, so that was 4 years, and then my PhD was 3.5 years, so that was 7.5 years until I'd finished my studying. And that's when I kind of started as being what's called a postdoctoral researcher, which is the kind of career stage I'm at the moment. You definitely kind of need curiosity, because you kind of need the strong motivation to be kind of working on this area. It's because it's a field that involves you kind of motivating yourself to kind of go out and work and to try and discover these new scientific things. You need the kind of curiosity to work on it. You need a strong mathematics background. I don't find myself kind of doing sort of solving algebraic equations on a day-to-day basis, but you do need to know a reasonable amount of mathematics and at least not hate maths. Similarly, you probably will need to do some computer coding. Again, it's not the main thing, it's not my favourite thing, but you need to not hate working with computers, basically. There's a strong component of working with others, so people often have this idea of sort of scientists sort of being kind of sort of lone geniuses working by themselves, and that's, in my experience, not really how science works. The kind of telescopes and projects that I'm working on are sort of hundreds and thousands of people all around the world working together on the same project. So it's vital that you can kind of work and collaborate with other people. And it's also good that a vital skill is being able to communicate your results. So it's no good coming up with an amazing scientific theory if you can't explain it to other people. So it's really important that you kind of have the skills to communicate and get across your ideas. Most importantly, it's a chance to work on something that you're interested in. Obviously, like working on science and physics and space is something that I love, so I'm really lucky that I'm able to kind of have that as my job, working on that on a day-to-day basis. You're working on people who also love what you're doing, which is something amazing. Amazing. Again, not everyone is fortunate enough to be working on things working with people who are passionate about it together. There's quite a lot of international travel. As I said, these projects are kind of hundreds of people around the world, all working on the same thing. So I've kind of been to South Africa, Chile, the USA, Italy, all through the course of working in astrophysics. And I guess another reason to choose is that it's a kind of job that involves motivating yourself quite a lot. So it's not normally something that there's sort of someone saying, okay, this is what we've got to get sorted this week. You've very much got to kind of motivate yourself and choose for yourself what you think is important and interesting, and kind of make sure that you do that. So what I've described is kind of what it's like working as a kind of research astrophysicist in a kind of university setting. I hope that this was useful for thinking about possible careers. Have a great day.